Mr. Poseidon.
Hey, there I am. How you doing, guys? How's everybody doing? Yeah. Welcome, everybody, and I am Mr. Poseidon, and my lovely wife next to me. Hello, honey. How are you?
Hello.
Let's say hello to my
How's
wife. She's
everybody?
in one of these, right? One of them.
ones.
Which one? There she
Never
is.
mind. Hi, everybody. Yeah, we're back. We have our high-speed internet back.
We got it back, man. Last week, I'm telling you right now, I was tortured. Supposed to have Dave on from Fight Laws Company. He was all ready. He was psyched, and I had to let him down. He was like, I don't want to ever be on your show again. I'm like, Dave, please.
No.
I'll give you next week, I promise. So Dave's on this week. He's going to be on the show. We're going to talk about his lore. He's got some hot lures. I bought a few lures off him. They're in the mail, but I did tell him to hold on to one. That'll be today's giveaway. Also, let me put it on the overhead so you guys could see it. We're going to also have a package of my man Mike Zinger Baits. Check out Zinger. He's got the toughest plastics in the business. I'll be seeing him very soon at the Narragansett Surf Day. Can't wait for that day. It's going to be magical and lots of fun. I'll also be at the Narragansett Association's at the club there. We're going to have a Christmas party, and I've been invited, and I can't wait to go see all the guys up in Rhode Island. You guys rock. Charlie the Wolf, what's up, buddy? You are the man. All right, so let's get started here today. Like I said, we got our new high-speed internet service, which I don't see any difference. They just screwed us up for a week. That's the only difference I saw.
Such a mess.
It was a mess, right, honey? Such a mess.
And then, like, Doug was asking, how's the ceiling? How's the
Yeah, I'm going to tell you about the
repair?
ceiling, too. Let me tell you.
It's getting there.
Before we get Dave on, Dave's probably like, look, he's going to talk about the ceiling again. So anyhow, my ceiling fell last week because I had a big leak, and I did get it. I fixed the leak myself. I have very talented hands. That's why I catch very small fish. So we fixed up the ceiling. I called the electricians. The electricians were here on Friday. Thank you, Valentine Electric. You guys are dynamite. Thank you very much. You remember the gentleman's name that was working on it? Because I came home from work and I went right to bed.
Paul's the owner, and Edwin was helping him out.
Yeah, Edwin was helping him out. And I forgot his name.
And Jose.
Jose, maybe. But anyway, dynamite guys, licensed electricians, they fixed it up. In New York or in, I don't know where else, but I know it's illegal to have electric wiring underneath your bathroom because if it ever has a leak and you get a short, you can put the house on fire. Well, the people who own the house before us, like I mentioned last week, they did a gypsy job. So anyhow, it's all fixed right now. It's done. The next step now is waiting for parts to come in and so on. We're going to be redoing our bathroom, right, honey?
Yeah.
Are you all
slowly
excited
but
about
sure.
that?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, me too. We're using the other bathroom right now. But that one's nice. That one's all ready to go. But anyhow.
Doug Bohr wanted to know, how was your Jersey fishing?
Yeah, I want to talk about really quick. I'm sorry, Dave. A couple of more minutes, buddy, and we'll be right with you. I went out to Jersey this week. Guys, I got to tell you something. The number one secret to fishing, if you want to catch fish, guys, the number one thing isn't going out once a year, twice a year. You got to really grind. When you go out there and you don't see the fish in a certain area, don't hang out and wait for them. The odds are they're not there. They're not there and they're not going to be there. You got to hunt for them. Example, I went out last Wednesday to the Jersey Shore, and I want to tell you, Jersey guys, you rock, man. All you guys rock out there. You guys are great guys. Oof, it gets to me right here. I met a couple of great guys. Jason, I met out there.
Frank.
Yeah, Frank. Ron. I just, I meet so many people. It's hard to remember everybody's name. But I had a great time. And I got to tell you, I went out during the storm. I remember the place I was staying. They're like, you're going fishing? I'm like, yeah. They're like, yo, it's going to be 30-knot winds out there. You got to be really careful if you go. Nobody wanted to go. I was like, you should come now because I believe in storms. I don't believe in getting yourself killed. Be very careful, all right? Don't start jumping on jetties when you got 5 and 7 and 8 foot swells. You're going to be in big trouble.
My goodness.
Guaranteed. You're going to have a wave come right over those, take you out, and
Oh, boy.
I don't want to say what happens after that, but you're not going to be on my show again. Anyhow, the thing is, just be very careful when you go out to storms. Crazy Alberto Nee, he had put out a post a few days ago about storms and how careful you have to be. And I'm very aware in storms. You got to always be aware. People say, well, what are you going to be aware of? Of the air? No. You got waves coming in. And in storms, I'm telling you, every 7 to 10 minutes, there's always a big wave coming in. It happened again. The waves were coming and hitting me from the right to left. They were moving, and they were moving quick. That current underneath was like a river raging. You know, I would throw my bucktail. I was using bucktails, mug 'em up bucktails, all the way to the right, and it was the Wonder Bread, and it was just moving so fast to the left. It was incredible. But a wave that hit me from on my right side, and it pushed me over. I landed on my knees, and when that wave came in, that water just came up so quick. I was very lucky. I got up very quick, and I just ran right out of the wave, ran as quick as I could. That water went over the regular line of where it was coming up to, and it was still coming. But anyhow, just be aware out there when you're fishing in storms. That's the only thing I could tell you. So, Doug, I was out there. I was fishing. I landed on a big striper blitz. It was incredible. There were 2 guys on the beach, me and another guy. If you guys saw my little post on Instagram, he was to my left. I was catching fish left and right. The poor guy wasn't catching any fish, nothing. So I kind of felt bad, and I stopped fishing for a second, and I walked up to him, and I could see him staring at my bucktail. And and I said to him, "What are you using?" He says to me, "I'm using a bucktail." Now, I was using a bucktail, Mug 'em Up Bucktails Wonder Bread. I don't care what you were using. There were peanut bunker out there. The peanut bunker was jumping up on, honey, the peanut bunker was jumping all over the beach. The stripers were in a foot of water. They would come up to a foot. You see all the bunker jumping out into the beach. It was incredible. The winds were blowing anyhow. So the guy says, I says to him, using a bucktail. He says, I am using a bucktail. So I looked at it, I go, yeah, you are. But you got a 6-inch shad hanging off the back of it. No good. The peanut bunker are small. You gotta match, I call it match the hatch, all right? Forget about match, no. I call it match the batch. I don't call it match the hatch, all right? So it's match the batch here. So the peanut bunker are really small. So the bucktail I was using was only a 1 ounce. I couldn't throw it out far, no more than 15, 20 feet because of that wind blowing in. And what happened was, again, I told you, all the stripers were right there in front of me. I didn't need to throw it out far. But it's human nature and all us being surf fishermen, you just want to get it out there. You're thinking maybe the bigger ones are a little out deeper. I was loading up. The guy put on the bucktail, and he starts waving at me, going like this. That was it. You had to match the batch that day, and that was a small bucktail. Thank you, Mario Gandini. Mug 'em Up Bucktails Wonder Bread. Mwah! I caught 35 fish. After I was done, my arms were like jelly. I didn't want to leave. I was screaming on the beach, I'm not going anywhere. When are you going to get another blitz like this? You never know when. It could be tomorrow. It could be never again. So I stood out there and I fished my heart out, guys. I fished. All I kept thinking was, how many pictures can I post on Instagram with me and my fishing rod smiling, holding a lure? 1, 2. After that, they're going to be like, is this guy catching any fish? Well, I caught him. I got on him. I went to Seaside Park. I went to Belmont. I went to Brick 3. I went in front of the lodge where I was staying. Nothing. And I was so angry, aggravated after 2 days. Freaking 16 hours fishing, not a fish. I just lost one in the wash. I ended up on Island Beach State Park. I went out there and ba-boom! There they were. I was going nuts. It's the grind, guys. That's the secret. You got to get out there and don't give up. Don't give up, man. Keep going, and you too will get on that fish. All right, enough yelling. Let's get to our guest right now. Woo! I'm all excited. I always get excited. Whether I'm on the show or I'm fishing, I'm excited. The only time I'm not excited is when I'm heading out for work. Anyway, so we're going to meet Dave right now from Fight Lure Company. Let's have a nice introduction. Mr. Dave, honey, you want to introduce Dave?
Here we go, Dave of Fight Lure Co. on Instagram. Hey, Dave!
Dave, welcome to the show, Dave. I'm happy to have you here. How are you, Dave?
Awesome. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. You could see I'm going a little crazy on the show here, but I am doing good. I am doing wonderful. Thank you for being on the show. I'm very sorry about last week, what happened. And you're here now with the new internet service that I don't see a difference at all, right, honey?
I know.
Right. So, Dave, let's get started here. Dave, you are a surf fisherman, are you not?
Yes, sir.
Somebody tells me that the biggest fish you caught was 17 inches. Is that true? No, I'm kidding, Dave. I'm kidding. I'm
16
kidding.
and a half.
There you go, Dave. Woo! Love that. Okay, so Dave, I know you're a lure maker, but before we get to that, how did this all start for you, Dave? I always want to know how this all started on my guests. Tell me how everything started.
Oh, it started as a kid, man, like everybody else. Well, mostly everybody else. But
Right.
yeah, surf fishing as a kid. We used to fish with my dad and the Rockaway Surf Anglers Club out of Fort Tilden. We lived in Woodhaven, Queens, and then drove down to Rockaway and fished a lot of the backside of Breezy Point. Fished the jetties out there. Fished Floyd Bennett Field and all those spots back in the day when they were really, back in the
Productive.
early 90s.
Yep.
Yeah.
Long
Yeah, it
Island was
wild.
very productive back in those days.
Yep. Yeah, and then that turned into being a 14-year-old bored in wood shop and convinced the wood shop teacher to let me turn poppers on the lathe, and started catching fish on those, and that was pretty cool. And then that kind of went away, and then about 5 years ago, I started bringing all the lure building stuff back up, and slowly ramped up. And then COVID happened, and I had a little bit of free time, like everybody did.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my wife said, like, hey, you've been talking about this forever. Why don't you just do it now? You have the time. So thanks to her, I'm here.
Absolutely, Dave. And I want to add to that my wife also pushed me. My wife's been pushing me for about 10 years. Why don't you do YouTube? You love
Yep.
fishing. You love to talk, and nobody listens to you on the outside. Maybe they'll listen to you on YouTube. So I says, you know what? I did it 3 years ago. I started. And me too, Dave. I had a lot of time on COVID time because of not being able to work. I was working a week off, a week on. So
Yep.
that's a schedule they gave us. I was lucky to even work at all. A lot of people were out of work, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to those folks. But everybody is slowly getting back to work. And yeah, so tell me, Dave, tell me more.
Yeah, so I started developing these lures. I didn't want to do. I'm gonna jump around a little bit, but I didn't want. There are so many guys out there making really, really nice traditional, metal lips and wood based stuff. And as you saw, like with the promo video you did, right in the beginning, there's the first plugs I made, which were 5 inches, and they were all wood, and they were awesome. And they have a lot of foil on them. I took a lot of time with them. And those were great. They're more of like a stick bait type of plug. They have the same, nice swim to them that my current ones do. But I just couldn't make them at speed and get enough out there. And again, like when you look at everybody making traditional plugs, they do such a good job that I didn't really feel like, A, they're kind of not my style to fish, but B, I couldn't really add anything to that club, let the guys who are really good at it do it, and let me go over here. I really like the stick baits. I really like glide baits, and let me try to bring a little bit more of that into the saltwater scene, and build them really, really heavy duty, and they're a little bit heavier than most. They cast a lot further than most. They swim, in my opinion, and my guys' opinion, a lot better than most. And yeah, so that's where we're at now. Just in the garage producing.
Nice.
Yeah,
Not
no doubt about it. So I know I had a buddy that all started with you, and I'm like, what is that lure that you're using? We were out in Jersey. This was in the beginning of the season. And I remember we were catching schoolies that day, and he was catching most of them. So I walked up to him, and he showed me your lure, and that's the first time I actually heard about you. Then I came home. I did a little research, spoke to more people. Yeah, he makes a nice plug and blah, blah, blah. And so here we are today. And I also ordered from you. I know they're in the mail, and I told you to keep one. We're going to be giving that away at the end of the show. Definitely beautiful pearl white. What is it, 4.5 inch?
It's 4 3/4. It's almost 5 inches, and it's 2.5 ounces.
Beautiful. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. There'll be a
do you
lucky
have
winner.
it there by any chance?
Yeah, he does. He has it there.
Oh, okay.
There you go, guys. Look at that pretty little lure. I remembered the first comment. Yep, there it is. I remember the first comment I ever gave you was you showed one of your lures, and if you see Dave's lures, they look like Jolly Ranchers. You just want to bite into them when he first paints them. And I wrote, hey, man, I just want to put my fingerprint on that, if you remember that. And that's how it all started. And he makes a really nice lure. You know, remember, guys, you got to love the lure first. And then when the time comes and you're going fishing, you match the batch, and you're going to catch a fish. With Dave's, you might not have to match the batch. You're going to catch a fish anyway. But I hear a lot of people, and I see a lot of the posts on with his lure. Great stuff, Dave. I love it. So,
Tom Hood saying Warpath and Frenzy work for me.
There you go. That's what we got on tonight, the Frenzy, right, Dave? Correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
No doubt. In there. Uh-oh. All right, it does work really good. Wow. Let's get back to Dave. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, honey, do you want to ask Dave something? You were like, I want to ask Dave some questions tonight. And I was like, okay, go ahead.
Well, did you cover that? Because I know you put up on the LED screen, you said, what's up with the Frenzy?
Yeah, so ask him, what's up with the Frenzy?
That's it, Dave. What's up?
What's up with the Frenzy?
Yeah.
The Frenzy is, again, a 4 3/4 inch, 2.5 ounce resin glide bait. It doesn't need any input. You can put input to it, but I have the bin in my garage to prove it. 12 versions with moving weight around, and that didn't work, just to get a really nice, predictable swim. You can just straight reel it, and it doesn't dive at all. It'll dive to about 2 feet and then hang out there and then come all the way back to you. You can, it'll slow sink. So if you're fishing around boulders, you can just time sink it and let it go down and then start your retrieve. You can also, again, it casts like a bomb. It's nice and heavy, so it'll go, but it doesn't sink super fast. And you can do like a sweep and a pause. So you just reel up the slack, rip it, and you'll feel it in the rod tip. You'll feel thump, thump, thump. It has wide, straight, flat sides that really kick off a lot of vibration. And I've had fish, and I've heard guys stories about fish that swim. They're milling around and they're swimming past plugs, and then you rip it like that and they turn right around on it because it's that motion, so it sends out the vibration. So it's been a super productive plug this year. I got them really online in June, so it hasn't been that long. I was throwing them for the whole spring before that, after I dialed them in the winter. But the guys are loving it. It's just hard to keep up production now, which is, I guess, a good problem.
That's a great problem, buddy. Good for you, man. That's good to hear. So, guys,
nice.
Since he's at that point right now, I would say at the crest of the wave, I would put in your orders right now. But don't call right now because he's on my show, all right? Make sure you do that a little later.
So,
yeah,
Edwin
go ahead.
is saying, Edwin Rivero, so what are the different lures, sizes, and weights you offer?
So we just talked about the first size. That was I kind of went middle of the road with the first offering just to kind of appeal to the most things that were happening around when I released them in like the middle of the summer. The next one I'm gonna have out is a little bigger profile. So it's the 6 inch. It's nice and wide. 6 inch, 3.5 ounces. So the distance cast is really good on it. Again, nice and wide, same exact sink rate, same exact motion as the smaller one, the mid-size one. And then coming out, I'm currently nailing this down. I've been through about 12 revisions with this as well, is the 3.5 inch, which is like bass candy.
Yeah.
That'll be coming out. This is just a little tester I have. This will be coming out. Hopefully I'll have the molds nailed down in a couple weeks, and then I'll start pouring and producing these. I have in the pipeline, 40 or 50 of these that are going to be ready soon. Super. And then I'll also hit a few shows this winter with a bunch. So
nice. Excellent, man.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
Love to hear it. So I know you are in Long Island, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you fish out there, right?
Yep.
So what is it, Dave? What is your setup that you like to use with your lures?
It's a typical, like if you look up any typical like stick baiting rod that they use a lot of these rods they're not very parabolic, not like a old school lamb glass that just has a lot of slump to it.
Yes.
It's a lot of backbone. I use a lamb glass. I forgot the the specs on it, but it has a lot of backbone, and it just has a little bit of a soft tip. It's not fully laid over. So the recovery rate on the rod is really good. And you can that's why I'm making 3 sizes. You can throw them with a normal surf setup is just fine for them. You don't high stick it when you retrieve it. You kind of retrieve it with the rod tip level or rod tip down. And I know that's not super easy to do on the beach a lot of times, but if you're up on a jetty or a wall, or you're in a deep pocket, like I'll fish a lot of the back bays out here, the little inlets, and they'll have like a big scour line behind where the water rips through. That's a deep hole, perfect for those. I've had bass hit plugs in 3 feet from me, so that's a surprise late at night or early in the morning.
Sure. Hey, Dave, I got to tell you also, you mentioned that you like to keep the rod low, and you're right, on the beaches, sometimes holding that rod up as it's coming in, it'll bring the lure to the very top, and sometimes you don't want that. You want it to stay down low. And I always find, I hate to do it, but I'll put the rod under my underarm there, and bring it down low. That's a little tough sometimes. If you want to, and the other way is keeping it through your legs, but you got to bend over. And that's where, being an old man like myself, I'm 90 now, so it's tough to do. It really is tough to do. So that's why I put it under my arm, and I give it a little, tug every once in a while. Do you also do that? You give it a little jig there every once in a while?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll like first cast when I get anywhere, like I'll do 5 or 6 just straight retrieve, see if anything's around. And then either if I get follows and no commitment, or if I just don't see any fish right away and no action on top of the water, I'll let it sink a little bit, depending on, of course, where I am and how deep it is. But and then I'll start that sweep retrieve. And if, like you were saying earlier, like, if you're doing all that and they're not there, you got to move and get up and go somewhere else. So
yeah, no doubt. I want to say also, it says here, where is it? I just read it. I'm going to a couple. What's Dave's website? How can I get in touch with you, Dave, if they wanted the lure?
It's fightlures.com.
There you go, guys. Fight Lures. That's FIGHT. Lure, LURECO. My wife is putting it up.
Wait, Fight
Lures. Lures, yeah.
With an S.
.com.
There you go. Fightlures.com. You can get them over there. Check them out. Dave, I love your stuff. I can't wait to get it, because I'll probably be using it this week when I go out, and I hope I catch one with your lure, man. It's always cool.
How did you come up with the name?
I love building these.
Oh.
Yeah. How did you come up with the name? That's a good one. Thanks, honey.
With the name of the company?
Yeah, the name of the company.
Kind of like a it's a, of course we're fighting fish and fighting for, and at first it was that, but I wanted kind of a double meaning, and it's basically just fighting all the big producers. So like the Yozuris and all those boys, like they, I over the years, right? Like I stepped away from fishing for a while, and I came back, and I remember the Gibbs popper that I used to see at $8.
Yeah.
Is well above $8.
It's well above $8.
And then you see, like, and call it what it is, but you see trash coming out of other countries that are now $25. And it's a travesty, and what comes here, and I think we should, there are so many quality garage builders, and if it's not me, you should buy from some, if you're not buying from me, buy from another garage guy. Don't that's what we're fighting against as a small industry, I think.
Yes.
And support your local tackle shop, support your local builders. And of course it's financially based too, but I'm a big fan of, like, you see guys with 40 plugs in their bag, and you're never going to fish 40. Have a good selection of really, really quality stuff, and you're going to be more confident in using it because you feel better about it. And you don't need it all. I remember growing up, and my dad had a plug wall that had 100 plugs. I still have some of them in a box that I haven't seen in a while, and but none of them were really great. It was just like the grandeur of the collection,
like most of us, buddy, no doubt.
Yeah, and you see a little bit of that, but it was basically fighting against all of that stuff that I saw.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I want to say that who else said something? Morales said, get some of those smaller ones out there. He wants to get some. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Working hard on them.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, somebody else had asked if you were making them also in your garage, and
Yep.
you in fact are.
Yeah, so I want to say what guys say about, local plug builders. Look, I understand sometimes you have to pay a little more, guys. I pay a little more because I know I'm getting a quality product. The number one reason I love buying from these guys is they're made in America. All right? That's the number one thing that I love, is that they're made in America. And most of these guys, if not all of them, if you got a problem with the plug, let him know and he'll take care of you. Send you another plug or whatever the deal might be. If you're going to buy one from somewhere else, you're not going to get your money back. You might just well throw it in the garbage and it's over. But I want to make a mention from buying your local plug builders. Local plug builders that I support. You can add Dave to that list right now. Excellent guy, works very hard for his business. And I want to add in 401 Plugs up in Rhode Island. I also want to add in RD Customs, another great builder. Let's not forget about Lawson Laws. Lawson Laws was recently featured in Surfcaster's Journal. Great article. If you haven't read it, please do subscribe to them. I'm a subscriber at Surfcaster's Journal. Thanks, Zeno. I always followed you. I followed you as a kid. I learned how to use a bailless rod because of you, and much, much more I learned about lures off of your channel. Also, I want to also mention Vinny's Customs. Thank you very much, Vinny. Beautiful stuff. And let's not forget about my man, Zinger Baits, who does the plastic baits up there in Connecticut. Thank you, Mike. You make an excellent product. So, going back.
Danny also saying you always buy from local guys.
I agree. He says, no doubt, no doubt.
Carl Newman saying, Dave, that's true. People carry too much crap.
There you go. It's a fact. Hey, listen.
You can't even find it.
Yeah. That's right.
Here's a question. Christopher Karik asking, I've caught on glides, but they're so different. Can you explain the technique?
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So glides, like we refer to glides as a saltwater guy or a surf guy a little bit differently as the majority of people who fish glide baits. If you search glide baits on YouTube, you're going to get a lot of freshwater bass guys fishing, 12-inch baits that weigh 1.5 pounds, and it's a little crazy. And those really they'll have like a, you'll reel up the slack and give them a pop, and they'll glide for 3 or 4 feet. These are different. Like there's a couple guys that build wood ones, and I think we all have the same action. It's a glide bait, but it doesn't have a super long swim. It'll kick and it'll do its thing. And then it'll kind of flutter and stop. It doesn't have like a 4-foot swim typical of a typical glide bait. It's just like a shorter action, I guess, is the best explanation.
There you go.
Hope that
so
makes sense.
You got his website, right? Make sure you contact him after the show. Okay, Morales? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So anyhow, anybody else got any questions? Feel free to post them up on the chat there. Be glad to relay them right to Dave. Dave, I want to get into like a little deeper stuff here. I know you got a family, you got a son that you go out with, right? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yep. Yeah. My little guy, Charlie.
All the dads.
He's 7 now. He's been fishing since he was really 4 almost, with his little Paw Patrol rod. And of course, immediately I become first mate, and he gives me a lot of talk about that I don't catch any fish because he's catching them all. And I always say it's hard to catch fish with your lines not in the water because I'm taking care of your stuff. But yeah, he was the fluke master a few summers ago, man. He would average 3 or 4 fish every time he went out on his little rod and do it all by himself. He can cast that rod, 30, 40 feet with no problem. So he's going to be a killer in the future.
Nice.
Excellent.
So
I
cute.
love to hear that. I know you gave me that picture. I posted it on the who's going to be on the guest tonight.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
You were walking up with him. You must feel so proud, man. I never had kids. We tried, right, honey?
Yes.
We're still trying. But anyway, the trying part's always great, though. You got to admit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I got to be honest that, I always wanted a kid. But, hey, listen, it didn't happen, but we love each other. And I got to be honest. I'm going to mention again, and I mentioned this quite a few times, you guys out there, you made this happen for me. You are all my kids. I'm not the best fisherman. I'm not. I am not the best fisherman. But I will tell you this, that I love fishing very much, and I grind so hard to catch that fish. And now being on YouTube and doing all this stuff in the live stream, I just fight even harder, more than I fought all my life. I fished 35 years with bait, with, bathing suit on and at Jones Beach and hanging out and with the girls trying to teach them. Okay, sorry, honey. You know about that already. But, the old days when I was young. And then, 15 years ago, I met a guy down there and showed me a diamond jig, and I put it on. I caught a little short striper, and that was it. Ever since then, I started fishing. Then, 10 years ago with the Bill Wetzel thing, going out with him, teaching me how to use a bucktail. I remember going out with Bill Wetzel and throwing out that bucktail, Dave, and I was reeling it back like a maniac. And he goes, "What are you doing?" And the thing's like skimming on top of the water like a jet ski or something. And he goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, cast it out." And then he told me, and he always told me, especially SP minnows, putting them on, throwing them out there slow. And when you think you're reeling slow, reel even slower, especially in the colder seasons. The water starts to really chill up. Fish are very lethargic. They're just hanging out. They're not going to waste their energy. So you got to have that lure, and hopefully it'll pass by him real slow, and he'll just try to suck it up, and you'll get yourself a nice fish. And the grind, guys, that's the main thing. The grind. People say to me, "Oh, how do you go fishing in the winter?" I go fishing in the winter, guys. I don't stop. It's a year-long process for me. And once the winter's over, come March, I hit the rivers. They're right here by my house. I travel to get to the beaches. I travel to go to Long Island. I'm up here in Rockland County. I'm traveling and go to Montauk, traveling Rhode Island, traveling Massachusetts, Connecticut. I even went to Maine this year. So it's all travel. But when they're in the rivers, they're 5 minutes from my house. I do know the rivers very well, and I know when they're hitting and how to hit them and so on. So you got to get out there. It's the grind. Right, Dave?
Yes, sir.
No doubt about it. So go ahead, honey.
A question, Carl Newman. How long does the process take from mold to finish to make those plugs, Dave?
I typically, I try to do them in batches of like 25 or 50, depending on how much time I have. So I don't know an exact per plug, but I spend a couple days pouring, and then they have to sit and harden up for 3 or 4 days for the resin to off gas, so you don't have any problems with the paint and all that stuff. And then prime paint, apply decals. That's another couple of days, and then the epoxy process is kind of the longest process. So that's 3 coats of epoxy over. I never let it set up, so you don't have to sand it back down. It's you're kind of applying while it's still kind of tacky, so you get a chemical bond between the layers. And there's 3 layers of heavy duty epoxy on there. So that's usually like done overnight or during a day-long process on the weekend, and that'll take a couple days too. So probably for a batch of 25, probably a week and a half, 2 weeks. So it's a lot of turnaround. Now, yeah. I'm not full time, so I'm doing it after work or before work, sure. And so that figures in. But yeah, that's usually how it goes.
That's awesome, Dave. Awesome.
Striper
Go ahead,
Hunter
honey.
Also has a question. Dave, would you use these gliders in heavy waves?
Yeah, I think that would be totally fine. Like that's why I built the 6-inch one a little heavier than I initially wanted to. I wanted to hit around 3 ounces, and I found that 3.5. Either of these, and I even think the little one, because I was throwing the little one that's going to probably roll in at like 1.5 ounces to 1.75 ounces directly into the wind last weekend, and they all just are bombs. They cut through the wind really, really well. And with the 6-inch one, I think you wouldn't have any problem in big waves. And you can also, with the weight and with the angle of the nose is flat, so with the body profile, I think you could kind of high stick that a little bit more as long as it's far out there. You wouldn't have a problem with that.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Mario said you asked a question. I'm not sure. I think we missed it. Mario, you can resend your question if you sent one. Christopher Carrick, in open beach, do your glides hold the ones on the market usually wash out? in the open beach do your glides
They hold in current really well. I've had a lot of guys report back fishing boulder fields with a lot of sweep or in inlets, and I have an inlet right down the road from me, and the water just pumps through there. And as long as you're casting up current and following it through, it digs. It'll dig and it'll stay 18 inches, 2 feet down the whole way back through. Again, that's you brought it up, like when you're fishing all of these not all, but like Rapala makes one, Nomad has one, Sabile has a bunch. They tend to be very light, and those are good in the back bays with not a lot of current near a slack tide or something like that. But they don't hold when you throw them out there. And I wanted these to kind of hold in current, kind of like a darter would, or like a heavy stubby, like a stubby needlefish that you would literally throw out there, have a cup of coffee while it sinks and then crawl it back. I wanted it to have that kind of staying power, but also not get down too deep.
Right.
Kind of stay up in the upper top of the water column. So yeah, it's all good.
Okay, this is probably related. Surfcasting Chris saying, all plugs work better in certain conditions. What is Dave's favorite conditions to fish his glider? Deep inlet rips, open beach, calm or rough conditions. Do you need current or is calm water better?
That's a good question.
They do. I'm biased, but they do really, really well in all conditions. I typically like not flat calm, but not a huge amount of current. Kind of medium current. Again, I fish a lot of. I don't get on the open beach too much. I usually fish inlets or back bays, smaller inlets on the Peconic side here, or the back side of the inlet on the ocean side. Yeah, I mean, I typically don't fish in nor'easters anymore. I used to do that a lot.
Right.
Between work and everything else, I have to pick my days. But yeah, I like a little bit of current. But I think that's also because I've been building the larger sizes. I think when the smaller size rolls out, I think I'm going to have plugs for every situation, and I'm really going to like the smaller size when there's no current around. I really tried to go through a lot of versions of these, playing with the weights, where they're located, and the resin mix because I've thrown plugs out there and they didn't hold, or they just skipped back along the top of the water, or and I think I got there with these really well, and I think they're pretty versatile. That's the reports I've been getting back from all the guys fishing this season, is that it's a very versatile plug.
Right on. I also want to mention, I want to take a time out here for 30 seconds. Bruce Bain, you just asked what's going on with John Francesconi. Well, John Francesconi's been on my show since the beginning, and he's been on every single week. A couple of months ago, he had an accident with his wife. Somebody hit them in the car. They went to the hospital. I know his wife had a crack or whatever, a fractured neck. John broke a couple of ribs. I'm sorry to hear that. I did call him to find out how he's doing, and he's healing slowly. He's coming back, but he's a big fisherman too. And if you're fishing every day of your life and all of a sudden you got to stop, you're not going to be in a good mood. And John Francesconi, I know you're going to get well soon. I hope you get well soon. We're all throwing you a little prayer out there. I know I am every day because I love you, Johnny. You're a wonderful guy. I meet Johnny at the Hudson River Piedmont a lot, and we sit for hours. And the treasure trove that this guy is. When you got a guy who's been fishing a river 30 years, he's a treasure trove. You understand? He's a treasure trove. Anybody out there, I know everybody knows everything and everybody's good, but you got to open up. You got to open up a little bit and allow yourself to absorb information. I consistently absorb information. I don't care if it's a 16-year-old kid fishing and he's telling me, hey, stripers over here on the outgoing tide with a full moon. They're always here. Yeah, I just learned something from a 16-year-old kid. But I'm going to tell you something. Just, always absorb information. You want, you use it. If you don't, let it go by you. But I'm always out there. I'm absorbing. It's very important. And that's what I wanted to say. John Francesconi, I hope you get better real soon. Go ahead, honey.
Everybody, a lot of good wishes for John.
No doubt about it.
Soon, so.
No doubt about it.
He's going to get strong for the spring season.
Yeah, Bruce Bain is saying, please call me after. Need contact information for our friend John. I will do that. 100% Bruce. Bruce, when is the Narragansett show again? I know I have a booth there. I'll be there live streaming. Please tell everybody the date of the show so they can show up. That's Surf Day in Narragansett. That's in Rhode Island. I was there last year. Great show, great people. And I'm going to tell you, Rhode Island.
It's January 15. There we go.
Yeah, January 15. And
14.
And guys, I want to let you know that there are a lot of good fishermen that come out of Rhode Island. That's why I believe in the plug builders there, especially Massachusetts, like Scott Lawson. Again, 401 Plugs, RD Customs, and Vinny's Customs been around, and Mike's Zinger Baits. These guys are all excellent plug builders, and including my new friend here, Dave, who's going to send me 400 lures for free today. I'm so happy. No, I'm kidding.
They're on the way.
But yeah, there you go. But I can't wait to get my lures. I did order 2 lures from him. One of them I told to hold on for you guys, which will be given away at this show. I hope you guys left a comment on last week's live stream. We're going to be taking it from that. My wife will be spinning it on the common picker, and hopefully you'll win that lure, along with the Zinger Baits that I have here, a package of the Triton Zinger Baits colored just for me, made just for me. Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Poseidon color?
Yep, that's the Mr. Poseidon color. And I've caught
Nice.
not one, but plenty of fish with this. Even a 25-pound striper I caught with these. That's right. And I have that one posted up, too. Elizabeth McDowell, welcome. How are you, darling? Elizabeth Fitz is with her son. Her son is a guide out there. Elizabeth, thank you so much. You're always giving me great comments. I appreciate you very much. Thanks. Joe Pinto, what's up, buddy? How are you? Good to see you. Joe Pinto's down in, I think he's in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure I couldn't make it. Tiberius, I got stuck at work. I get it. Work is first in order for us to enjoy fishing. So let's get back to Dave again. Dave, I'm very excited to get your lure. The more I speak about it here, the more I get more excited. I will be using it this week.
Wait, John McDowell is saying he's not a guide. LOL.
I think he's a guide. I was told he was a guide.
He just guides his mom.
Oh, stop. Is Vinny's Customs here tonight? No, Vinny's not here. Vinny, are you here tonight? Sometimes Vinny gets on. Vinny's very busy. He builds tons of lures also.
Bruce said he met Elizabeth today.
Oh, nice. There you go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love that. All right, so let's get back to Dave here. I know we're getting down to the 8 o'clock time. I like to keep it for an hour, the show. A lot of people like to watch their shows that start. I know my friend Chuck Dumas loves his show at 8 o'clock, so I don't want to hold you guys up. But Dave, I want to finish this up slowly. So what can you tell us more about yourself, Dave? I know you love building it, and I know you are making it because you do make a good product. Tell me some more, Dave.
Like you said, I love making them, and I kind of get to fish vicariously through everybody that's fishing them. So that's really cool. You know, it's cool for me to go out and it's a weird for anybody that's not built a plug for themselves. It's an awesome feeling when you hook up with something that you made. You know, it is really cool, and it's even cooler to have them rolling around out there. You know, the first thing I did when I started building the first one was build 20 and identify some people through Instagram, through their followings that seemed like nice people that are, you know, good fishermen. And I just sent them out, say, hey, I'd like to send you something. I don't want you to post about it. I don't want you to do anything for me. Just let me know how it fishes. Just let me know what you think.
Wonderful.
And all of a sudden everybody starts posting about them, which I was very grateful for. But they posted about them because it worked. So, you know, I get to do really cool stuff because of this, because I'm a super, as my wife will tell you, I'm a super process-based guy. I love anything that has a process in it. I'm a financial controller by trade, so I like things nailed down, you know. So process is nailed down. So I get to feed that addiction a little bit as well. So it's great.
Yeah, the only building that I do, Dave, is at my job, and the same like you. I like to be everything in order, everything done right. You know, I get young guys on the job. Oh, we got to do this. Nah, you don't got to do anything. Just let the boss know in the morning you didn't help me. Oh, here you go, Mr. Poseidon. Here's your tool. What do you need?
Poseidon.
They don't say Mr. Poseidon. But anyway, hey, James, how are you? So, yeah, I love things in order, and I'm very, very technical, and I am very precise, and I love clean jobs. No matter what I do, whether I'm cooking or whatever I'm doing, whether I'm fishing, everything is clean. Everything is nice, and everything is in a process. It always helps when it's like that. It helps you out a lot when everything is nice and clean. In my jobs at work, I always make sure everything is clean. That's the most important thing. I have a wonderful partner who I work with, Louie. What's up, Louie? I know you're watching out there. Louie's always watching me. And Louie's a wonderful partner that I work with, very knowledgeable. And when you put two minds together, sometimes things are even better. And I know you got two minds there because you got your son. Dad, you're not catching as much fish as me. How are you doing that, son? Absolutely. But I get it. I get it totally. And I'm very proud to have you on my show, Dave. I'm very proud that you make your plugs alone, right in there in the garage, like Danny DeMorales said earlier. You know, it's great to have guys who make their own product. You know they care about it. They're not just building them. And you can tell just from his post. Watch his post. When those things come fresh off the mill, I'm telling you, I'm not wrong. It looks like a Twizzler. You just want to bite right into it or stick your fingerprint in there like I want to. Yep. But thank you, Dave. I appreciate you very much. I can't wait to get my plugs. So now, you want to show up that plug again, Dave, and tell me all about it one more time?
Could I just give a little bit of a tip or just a little information about it?
Go.
I, along with standardization, right? So the frames for these are stainless steel plate cut, so they're not bent wire. So they're super heavy duty. They're the same technology that you would use for like a big tuna stick bait. So actually, I built these. So if you wanted to throw these at a big mahi or a tuna or anything like that, you just change out the hooks and to heavier duty hooks if you need to. These are heavy duty 3X VMCs, so they're plenty heavy.
Oh, nice.
But the frames will hold. You know, the frame will hold whatever's pulling it.
Beautiful.
The line will break before the frame. So along with that comment, the front tie, right? Never direct tie these. Some guys like to direct tie with a loop or something.
I never do. I love my clips. Yeah.
Clips, or you take a page out of the Stick Bait Boys book where it's a split ring to a swivel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're not running a swivel, obviously, to tie to your braid. You're doing an FG knot or a double uni or something like that.
Nice.
I typically like to just do a very, braid to swivel to fluoro to the clip to the front. You know, as long as I'm not, if I'm gonna be this coming summer, I'm gonna start hunting some bigger offshore fish down, and I'll start to do the swivel and the split ring in the front. But again, plenty heavily built. I talk to all the guys that provide things for me. So the epoxies out of Minnesota, the resins out of Minnesota as well. The stainless steel plate frames are U.S. steel, cut here on a laser. BMC hooks. Some of them are made here. Some of them are made in France, I believe, but that's the only way you can get them. And Roscoe split rings. So the split rings are 100 pounds on these. And I think I might go bigger splits on the larger size, but that's what this size is right now. So, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I love that lure. Guys, that's what you're going to be getting tonight, along with a pack of 3 Zinger baits, the Triton colored. They're the Excite. They're 9-inch. Excellent stuff. Put a nice jig head on there. I would say no more than 3/4. That's what I like to use in the water. Get them down low and start the slow retrieve, and everything will be nice and dandy, and hopefully you'll score a nice striper. Whether you're using Dave's or mine, just remember, it's all about having fun. Enjoy the time you have fishing. You know, camaraderie is beautiful. I meet many people on the beach. I talk to many people, and I'm going to be honest, 95% of the people give good reaction back. Some people might not even say a word. I don't bother them. That's the way they fish. That's their business. I'm not here to judge. Just enjoy what you're doing and be safe out there. Always follow the laws. Very important. You must do that. That's a main fact for everybody. The striper population has to grow, and that's why these laws are out there for future generations like Dave's son to enjoy, and many of you who have sons and daughters out there who like to fish also to enjoy for them. All right, so we're going to give away that lure right now. Ready, honey? And the package of Zinger baits. Dave, you want to hold that up? And here we go, honey.
Okay,
spin it.
Ready? Boom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There it is. Read it off, honey.
Weekend Warrior Surfcaster.
Weekend Warrior Surfcaster. My friend Joe. Joe is a wonderful cat. Let's hope that Weekend Warrior Surfcaster is out there right now. Weekend Warrior Surfcaster. I will break your hand if you're not out there. You get the 10-second countdown. Oh, boy. Here we go. Weekend Warrior Surfcaster. Here we go. 10.
Oh, man.
9, 8. Weekend Warrior Surfcaster, you're getting the count. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Where are you, buddy? 3, 2. Come on, Weekend. I'm giving you a little extra count here. What are you doing? We're going to have to run this again.
I don't see
And
him.
I don't see him. And 1, and I'm sorry, buddy. Joe, you should have been on my show. I think Joe's busy tonight. He might be out there fishing. He might goes
fishing.
out. Yeah, he does. He goes out night fishing. All right, guys, we're going to spin it again. You're going to get another shot at this. And that's it. So spin it again, honey,
Okay,
and let's
here we
hope for the winner.
go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And D-Bar.
Nice. D-Bar, you're the winner tonight.
That's
Congratulations to
Doug.
D-Bar. Thank you so much. D-Bar, you're a wonderful cat. I know you were asking me earlier, what's his? He was the one asking, what's your site? So congratulations.
Very, very nice.
Kevin Maltozo says he's sleeping, and Kevin Maltozo knows Joe personally. Kevin, I want to say hello. I didn't say my hellos tonight. So Wormway, Surfcasting, Chris, Jason Palmatier, my man up in Massachusetts. What a wonderful cat and a great fisherman. I made a few videos with him. You'll see them up if you guys search for them. Up fishing with Jason Palmatier in Massachusetts. When I was with him, Jason Palmatier scored a 30-pounder right next to me. Nobody can beat that cat. Excellent fisherman. Thank you, Jason, for following me here. Bruce Bain, Mattatuck Surf Rat, president of the Narragansett Surf Club. Danny D. Morales, what can I say? Thank you so much. Guys, we always take donations here. We don't make any money. All we do is give away our money. My mortgage is 2 months behind. Help me! Danny D. Morales, I'm kidding. James Ferguson, another wonderful cat. Who else do we got out there that I didn't mention? Outcast. How you doing, buddy? Outcast makes a wonderful lure. I will be at his place making a video. I think this week I'm going to be out there. Yeah, going to be out there with him. Also, we got Wormway, Carl Newman, Night Shift Fishing. What a wonderful cat up at the canal. Oski, my man Oski. Let me not forget Oscar. Oscar, thank you so much. Look at that. Look at that. Wormway. Wormway, what can I say? Thank you so much. You always are a good cat. You got a family, Wormway. You got a daughter. You got a wife. And I know you fish with your daughter. You fish up in the upper sides of Manhattan. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. John McDowell, thank you so much. Bruce Bain, you're the man. I'll see you at the Christmas party and also at the Narragansett Surf Day coming up on January 14th. Thank you guys for coming to the show. And again, Dave, thank you. We're going to have you back for that 6-inch giveaway. I'm going to definitely be giving one of those away. Beautiful stuff because I love my 3+ ounce lures for chucking. Sometimes I'm not catching fish, and I just love to chuck that lure and go, look what I do. I know I went with Edwin Rivera, and he's like, yo, Mr. P, you can chuck that lure. And I'm like, yeah, really? But anyway, I love fishing, guys. Never forget it. Surf fishing, boat fishing, I love it all. Even freshwater fishing I'll do once in a while. But I do have my love, and my love is surf fishing for stripers. Thank you to Bill Wetzel for making me the surf fisherman who I am today. Please check out surfratsball.com. Some of the best Northeast fishermen are on that site. You can get wonderful information. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dave. And let's go. Let's get that fish to one. Woo! My man. Woo! Thank you so much. Let's go. Take it easy, Davey. Thank you so much for everything, my man. God bless you. James, before we get started with that dance, thank you so much, my brother. You are the man.